Have you ever wondered why it feels like no matter how hard Americans work, they never get ahead? Why even people earning decent money still feel broke? Why debt doesn't disappear, it multiplies? Here's the real question we're starting with today. Is America being trapped in debt a personal failure? Or is it the system working exactly as designed? And if that's true, why does escaping debt feel harder today than it did 30 years ago? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why debt in America isn't temporary, it's structural. All right, let's talk about debt. Picture this. It's Sunday night. You're sitting at your kitchen table, bills spread out, credit card notifications buzzing on your phone. You paid everything you could this month, and somehow you still owe more than last month. That's not bad math. That's modern America. Right now, total U.S. household debt has crossed $18 trillion. That number is so big it doesn't feel real. But here's what is real. The average American household carries debt on their home, their car, their education, their healthcare, and often all four at the same time. Debt isn't a phase anymore. It's a lifestyle. Let's start with the silent killer most people underestimate. Inflation. Not the headline number, real inflation. Over the last 5 years, prices in the U.S. are up roughly 25%. That means what cost you $1,000 a few years ago now costs $250. But here's the problem. Wages didn't rise 25%. Housing costs exploded. Healthcare premiums jumped. College tuition climbed again. So every month, more of your paycheck disappears before you even touch it. And when income can't keep up with survival, debt fills the gap. You don't use a credit card because you're reckless. You use it because rent is due, groceries are higher, and life doesn't pause for your paycheck. And that's where the trap begins. Once debt enters your life, interest makes sure it never leaves easily. Credit card interest rates now sit around 20% or higher for millions of Americans. So even when you pay, you're mostly paying interest, not the balance. It's like running uphill on loose sand. Now let's zoom out, because this isn't just about individual choices, it's about how the entire economy is built. The U.S. economy runs on consumer spending. Nearly 70% of economic growth comes from people buying things. That means the system needs you to spend. And when wages don't rise fast enough, debt becomes the fuel. Mortgages keep housing moving, auto loans keep factories running, credit cards keep consumption alive. Debt isn't a bug. It's a feature. Economist Hyman Minsky warned decades ago that economies built on borrowing eventually trap people in what he called financial fragility, where stability depends on more and more debt. Sound familiar? And here's where inequality makes everything worse. As wealth concentrates at the top, the middle and lower classes borrow just to maintain a normal life, not luxury. Normal. That's why people with jobs, degrees, and good habits still drown in debt, because the cost of participating in society keeps rising. Now add savings into this picture, or rather, the lack of it. Nearly half of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing. One car repair, one medical bill, one missed paycheck, and suddenly debt isn't optional. It's survival. So when something goes wrong, people don't fall behind slowly. They fall fast. And once you're behind, fees and interest kick you while you're down. Penalty APRs, compounding interest. This is what many experts call the debt-death spiral. You borrow to catch up. Interest grows faster than your payments. So you borrow again just to stay afloat. Not to get ahead, just to breathe. Now here's a part most people never connect. The government is doing the same thing. The U.S. national debt keeps growing, and instead of paying it down, it gets rolled over. Old debt is replaced with new debt. Higher interest rates mean higher costs, and that influences the entire financial system, from mortgage rates to credit cards. When the government borrows more expensively, so do you. Former Federal Reserve Chair Alan Greenspan once admitted that debt isn't just tolerated in modern economies, it's relied upon. That reliance shapes policy, and policy shapes your life. So when someone says, "Why don't Americans just budget better?" they're missing the point. Budgeting doesn't fix a system where essentials outpace income. Discipline doesn't defeat compound interest. Hard work doesn't cancel inflation. Debt feels personal, but its roots are systemic. That's why escaping it feels so lonely. Now let's answer the big question. Why can't Americans escape debt? Because debt is used to replace income growth, because inflation makes survival expensive, because savings are fragile, because interest is relentless, and because the economy depends on people staying borrowed. Debt isn't just something Americans have, it's something America runs on. So what's the takeaway? Debt isn't a moral failure. It's a structural outcome. And understanding that doesn't mean giving up, it means seeing clearly. Because you can't escape a trap you don't recognize. Let me sum this up. Americans aren't drowning in debt because they're lazy or careless. They're drowning because costs rise faster than wages, savings are thin, credit is everywhere, and interest never sleeps. Debt becomes permanent, not because people choose it, but because the system quietly pushes them toward it. If this video helped you see debt differently, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe to the channel, because once you understand the rules, you stop blaming yourself for losing a rigged game.